Do you love homemade chocolate chip cookies? This recipe is going to make you wonder where they have been all your life. Good morning, everybody. My name is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today I am sharing a very special chocolate chip cookie recipe. It is the best chocolate chip cookies I have ever had. This recipe was shared with me by my friend Joan, and Joan and I used to go to church together. Trust me, you're going to fall in love with this recipe. Let's share the ingredients list. The very first thing you need is a stick and a half of butter. You want to use real butter. I am using organic, and it needs to be softened. So put it out on your counter 2 to 4 hours before you want to make this recipe. The next ingredient is 3/4 cup of light brown sugar, and you want to pack it. Pack it means you pushed it in as hard as you could so it was nice and tight in that container. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. I use raw cane sugar, 1 large egg, and as you see, most ingredients I use are organic, but not everything. A teaspoon of vanilla, and I prefer using pure vanilla extract. 2 cups of flour. If you've been with my channel for any amount of time, you know I vacuum seal everything. So that is organic flour that is vacuum sealed in a jar. Then 1 3.5-ounce package of instant vanilla pudding. You do not want cook and serve, and you also don't want sugar-free, so make sure it's instant. A teaspoon of baking soda. I already have that measured out. And then 1 12-ounce package of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, my friend Joan uses half semi-sweet and half dark chocolate. Oh, they are so good. To start this recipe, you are first going to put the butter into your stand mixer. So remember, it has to be extremely soft. And I'm going to put both of those. You see, it's sticking right to that paper because it is very, very soft. Get that in there. All right, now there is quite a few butter still on that paper, so that's when I always use my scraper and get it all off. All right, there was 1 stick, and now I'm going to add half a stick. Oops, added some paper in there too. There we go. The next ingredients are both of your sugars. This one is packed brown sugar. It's 3/4 cup. Dump that one in. And then we have regular granulated sugar, and that is a 1/4 cup. Next is 1 egg. I'm going to put that right into my mixing bowl. The last ingredient I'm going to add right now is a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, now I am going to mix that for 4 minutes until it's light and fluffy. I mixed it for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to stir it and make sure that all the ingredients are blended before I beat it for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, it should look like this. What I've done is scrape down the sides of the bowl. At this point, I'm going to stir in the last 3 ingredients before the chocolate chips, and that is baking soda, flour, and then the pudding mix. And one thing I wanted to add is my friend Joan, she doubles this recipe because these cookies are huge. And I'm going to add those dry ingredients, baking soda, 2 cups of flour, and then the pudding mix. And make sure you're using instant vanilla. Now this is only going to mix for 1 minute. So you don't want to completely on low. So start on low, and after about 30 seconds, you're going to turn it up. And this is what your dough looks like at that point. It was getting a little difficult for the stand mixer to mix it. That's exactly what you want. You want it very thick. And the next ingredient I'm going to add is 12 ounces of chocolate chips. So that is the entire bag. I could stir this in with a wooden spoon, but hey, I don't have a wooden spoon. So I am going to mix it for about 30 seconds with my stand mixer. And this is what your dough should look like. Pretty powdery. You want it like that with lots of chocolate chips all stirred in. This next step is what truly creates nice, chewy cookies. And the way that Joan does that is to use a large scoop. This scoop I got from Pampered Chef years and years ago. I think it's 3 tablespoons. It's definitely their large scoop. And what you're going to do, you're going to scoop out a handful and then roll it into a ball and place it on a cookie sheet. Now, these are going to be refrigerated, so they can be touching. They can be very close. All right, so I want a very filled scoop. Put it into my hand. And then roll it into a tight ball. That looks like that. This recipe made 15 huge cookie dough balls. And so what I'm going to do now is cover it with plastic wrap and put it in my refrigerator. Now, this is very important. You want to refrigerate anywhere from at least 2 hours up to 5 days. So I am going to refrigerate them for about 2 hours. I'm going to go mow the lawn and come back and bake them. And they are one of the best cookies you have ever eaten. All right, I am going to cover them up with plastic wrap and then stick them in my refrigerator. My cookie dough has been refrigerated for 4 hours. Now, you only need to refrigerate it for 2. So it is ready to bake, and the first thing I did was preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I still prefer to use stoneware, so I am going to put my cookie dough onto the stoneware, and you don't want to put them too close. Now, they don't spread out a huge amount, but they do need room to spread out. I found that 6 of the dough fits very well on my large stoneware. Now, when Joan does her recipe, she's using a baking sheet where she puts 8 cookies on hers. Now, for a baking sheet, she cooks them for 11 minutes, but I have found with a stone, you're going to cook around 16 minutes. So I will start the timer for 11, but it's going to be closer to 16. All right, I put 6 in the oven, and the rest of them I'm going to stick back in the refrigerator until it's time to bake them. All right, it's been 11 minutes, and I was correct. With stoneware, it takes 5 minutes longer. If you were just using a metal baking sheet, it would be 11 minutes. But for me, 5 more minutes to go. Here they are straight from the oven. Look at those cookies. They are slightly browned, fully cooked in the center, and at least 2 inches tall. Yummy. This gives you a little perspective of how big these cookies are. It is definitely a 1 cookie per serving kind of deal. I am going to go ahead and put them on my cooling rack, and then once the stone cools just a teeniest little bit, I'm going to get the next batch cooking. All right, this shows you the difference from the round cookie dough that is refrigerated to the cookie coming out of the oven. So it does rise up a little and spread out a little bit, but it holds its shape. If you're looking for a flat cookie, this is not it. These are so good. Well, my next batch is in the oven. I'm going to give you 6 tips that my friend Joan shared. Number 1, make sure the butter is truly soft. Number 2, you've got to chill that dough. Number 3, underbake it so the cookies are almost as good on the third day as they are right out of the oven. So don't overcook them. Don't cook them until they're brown. Then they will be too overcooked. Number 4, bake on a slip-at. And I am really not sure what that is. It's a special kind of mat that goes on her baking sheet. So I'm not sure about that one. Number 5, use a cookie scoop. And number 6, I make a double batch and use my convection oven. So those are the things that Joan does to make these cookies perfect. I have sliced one of these cookies in half so you can see it is indeed cooked all the way through. And I think I'm going to eat the other half. Then again, maybe I'll eat both halves. Look at the size of these cookies. Now, I just ate half of one, and honestly, that was about all I could eat. They are filling. If you enjoyed this recipe, please like, subscribe, and share. And remember, you can't do everything in one day, but you can just do something. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.